a single piece of confetti has fallen from the sky from 7 months ago to celebrate an old-fashioned Greg Cody Tuesday. Here it is. Greg Cody, Billy Gill, Mike Ryan, Chris Cody, Stugotz,
hello,
united for a Greg Cody Tuesday, old-fashioned style. And Jeremy is also here.
Huh. Wow.
Hey.
But the nostalgia, you don't understand what happened to me this morning. That piece of confetti has been flowing all morning for me because I wake up on what is traditionally one of the worst sports weeks there's ever been to not one, but two newspaper articles, old-fashioned, saying, LeBron to Miami, ? And I'm like, are you kidding me?
We are back.
Wait a minute, are you joking? And it's basically just a scenario where it's like, well, where else is he going to go? Not one, but two newspaper articles?
That's ridiculous. It is. I mean, just the other day, ESPN has a big analytical piece listing 4 teams where he might go, and Miami's not even one of them. What are we doing?
There's only 2 teams that can make money for money swap work. Jeremy and I were workshopping this in the bullpen. After Norm Powell's acquisition, your boy is back. Because vibes have kind of...
You're back?
No.
It took Norm Powell?
All it took was a little small... I saw Dan criticizing it. Norm Powell's a tipping point? Yeah, doing something positive was a tipping point.
Welcome back.
Well, I'm still upset about this Kevin Durant pursuit, especially since we didn't want to trade Khalil Wear, and then Spo spoke about him, and he's like, basically, he needs to change everything about his game and his approach to it.
But don't worry, he did. 21-15 last night.
I don't really get it. But, Miami Heat have 2 bad contracts so that they can trade and just straight up do the money thing with LA. Not a lot of teams can do that. And then LA doesn't have to worry about a pesky little buyout.
Specifically the money being expiring after next year, because reportedly that is what the Lakers want, is no money beyond the year.
Oh, but come on, man.
Them and the Clippers.
The way that you're assembling that now you guys have, in the most magical of absurd turd sports radio situations where it's always, I'm going to trade my bag of nothing for the most important thing. That's regional sports radio. You're now telling me Rozier and Wiggins straight up for LeBron.
That gets it done, Dano.
We'll staple a second to it. Give it a little second. How funny, how perfect would it be if the end of this Terry Rozier story arc, it ends with a reacquisition of the game's greatest player?
I will not do that show today.
And we'll throw in Wayne Simeon.
You gotta be, you guys remember when we did shows about how it is that you trade Omar Yurtseven for Kevin Durant.
That's right. Daquan Cook stays, though. We're not putting him in the piece.
So now you guys have created the scenario, and Ira and Barry have lent credence to it by writing an article. Hey, Heat fan base, can I interest you in, we'll add Norm Powell and Wiggins and Rozier straight up for LeBron.
That's a good trade. That's a good trade. I like it.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Man, so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. Right, guys, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
I will get to LeBron to the Miami Heat in a second, but I want to ask all of you a question. I drove in this morning, and I was marveling, as I often do in South Florida, about what a weird place we are. And a lot of people who listen to this show say that I too often describe something as uniquely Miami when it's something that's all over the Americas, all over the world. But I want to ask you guys genuinely if you believe that in downtown, in any other major metropolis in our United States, you could drive in through downtown and get this particular video and sound and get it from 50 roosters downtown or 500 roosters downtown, because we have more roosters down here than pigeons. Tell me this is something that you guys can imagine in any other major American city downtown. Is it something? It can't be something that's somewhere else. Do I have this wrong?
I would love. I mean, we have a pretty big fan base that's spread out. I would like to know if anyone in the YouTube chat right now has roosters walking around their downtown. The biggest comp that I've ever seen compared to Miami is Key West. You'll see plenty of roosters walking down Key West.
Yeah, but they just came from over here. They were all here first.
Yeah, they went down the 7 Mile Bridge.
Ended up in the Keys.
They're like, we don't want to be in that part of America. We want to be in this part of America, and this is as far south as it gets. But I don't understand, and this is, Billy, I don't know if you know Hispanic Gaiocho history, but this has been something that is so for a long time, and you will see giant roosters all over Gaiocho and South Florida for a reason. I'm assuming it's that reason. I'm assuming there is I guess we could ask Ron McGill later. I don't know why they're here, but this isn't anywhere else, right?
The real roosters or the sculptures?
The sculptures that are in celebration of the real roosters.
It's like an art installation. It's art.
But
Like, why did someone tape a banana to a wall? Art.
Yep.
You should get art, Dan.
Okay, but bananas are everywhere. The rooster being specific.
There's roosters
to our
everywhere.
Okay,
Downtown Des Moines is probably full
all
of
right,
roosters.
so
if
you
I'm gonna
don't
be
know the
honest with you.
history. Okay, thanks for the contribution.
Well, I imagine the large-scale art installations are to reflect what is happening in the community, which is actual roosters walking around everywhere. If you go to Marlins Park, there's a bunch of roosters around Marlins Park.
But amplifying what Mike said, roosters have taken over Key West. You go to Key West now. I love Key West. We go there as tourists a few times a year. You see roosters now in Sloppy Joe's,
Right.
like ordering drinks. I mean, they have taken over the city, and it's like they're the symbol of Key West in a way that I don't think roosters are in Miami, except for a few Hispanic neighborhoods.
Please turn that off. I think that's going to start annoying people if it hasn't already. Put it out in the poll. Have roosters taken over Key West? These were over there by the Metro Rail. Greg, can you take that mask off, please? Why are you wearing that mask? It's muffling the sound that we're getting on.
You may have heard, Dan, there's a global pandemic going on. I wanted to protect myself and others around me. So that's why I was wearing the mask.
Okay, but there is?
We taped this show in 2021.
Fake news.
We mask shaming Greg now?
No, I just would like him. I'd like
He was
to
in
hear him
yesterday,
better.
and he wasn't wearing a mask, though.
I would like to take off the mask.
That was
'cause
yesterday.
It's very hot.
Okay,
under my mask.
it is hot in here. We're
Yep.
having some problems with the equipment.
Shall I take off the mask?
You just announced that you were going to take it off. You can do all of it quietly and by yourself. I just need your audio to be slightly better. Billy, it would be helpful to me if you would find out for me why it is there are art installations of
It's a
roosters.
celebration of the neighborhood's Cuban culture and way to attract tourists. It's part of the Rooster Walk project.
Thank you.
He was ahead of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning to not one but two newspaper articles asking whether LeBron to Miami could be a thing. Yesterday on the show, I just want to explore this with you guys for old time's sake, just because I can't believe it's here and it just makes me smile. Is this the year anniversary of the assassination attempt on Trump?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not today. It was, I think, over the weekend on Sunday.
It makes, I can't believe a year's gone by, but it makes me smile to think of this particular week in the middle of summer, Stugotz. When our show was almost literally built upon a LeBron to Miami. Everything our show became was almost literally built on LeBron came to Miami. To wake up this morning on a week when so much of sports is on vacation.
Yep.
It's just the All-Star game and people yelling about whether that guy should be in or whether a kid should be stealing home runs during the home run derby.
I have a lot to say about that.
We'll get to it in a second. But the manna that I get from heaven is not merely that Spo just volunteers a day ago. I skipped right past this story yesterday. Spo mentions for the first time with a private organization in which I hadn't seen any of the insiders report on the following. Spo says for the first time, Khalil Wear needs to work on his professionalism. And as soon as I heard the word professionalism, I immediately went to, whoa, Hassan Whiteside. And that Spo did that to me. That wasn't there before. Spo did it to me and then did it to him. Because none of us were there. None of the insiders were reporting anything about Spo volunteering. We got a guy who needs to be more professional. And the last time I heard that kind of stuff, it's when Hassan Whiteside's leaving his car open and there's a giant machine gun in the back and Hassan Whiteside is being just maximum Hassan Whiteside, just young kid in the league before he's ready to be an adult.
That's really not something that you want to hear weeks after the fan base is frustrated that they didn't acquire Kevin Durant. One of the rumored places that they wouldn't go, the bridge too far, was adding Khalil Wear to the piece, to the mix. And 2 weeks later to have your head coach, who very rarely says things like that, saying he needs to improve his approach to the game, he needs to improve aspects of his game, makes you wonder aloud, well, you know who doesn't? Kevin Durant. What are we doing here?
This is a volunteering of information that this organization doesn't usually do. It is purposeful. That man particularly is, I think, the most savvy, careful person around the media I've ever seen in this market. Has to be available to the media twice a day, is bored by it, entertains it, but doesn't do any of the extra stuff. And that was all purposeful and something that they don't do very often. And when I'm telling you, Stugotz, when that lands on me as you just volunteered information that turned a dude into Hassan Whiteside on me just because you're the one saying it and it's that word and it's this organization, I hadn't seen that reported anywhere by all of these insiders in the information business. And I was taken aback by the fact that he did it, and I didn't even mention it yesterday. And then today, when I was going to mention it, LeBron stops by.
I mean, it was a totally calculated move by Spo. He does not do these things, and it made me feel like, well, is this organization feeling the heat a little bit because they got criticized for not really considering putting Wear in that package? Fan base got frustrated, and now Spo is speaking in ways that we haven't seen him do it publicly. By the way, the concerns about Wear's approach to the game should have started and ended with this tattoo that he has on his bicep. It's quite frankly the worst tattoo in all of sports. And as a guy with a Lee Corso tattoo, I feel like I'm an authority on bad tattoos. That right there, terrible tattoo.
The loser is the word that is etched on his bicep, and then the S in loser is covered by a V to make him a lover. But you can see the S, and it's back there, but now it's the red V. So he's a lover, not a loser.
The thing with this sort of public calling out with Spo is the reason you don't hear it from information insiders is maybe because it really just frustrated Spo to see the lack of aggressiveness from Wear in the Summer League in particular. He started the Summer League being essentially absent from the offense, not really doing a lot on defense, and since being called out, it's 21-9 and then 21-15 in back-to-back games. And when talking about it, he just said, it's something I got to bring every day, and like I said, I will. It's more of a presence that's being felt out there. I just got to bring it. That's it, plain and simple. I think that was a challenge not only to Wear, but potentially to Bam Adebayo as a leader as well, to say, hey, man, you got to take this young buck and do the same things with him that Udonis Haslem did with you.
This when Spo is waving the heat culture flag, in this case, it tells me that behind the scenes there has been a frustration with Wear building to the point where it finally erupts in a public comment. I don't think this is anything that's particularly recent. It's got to be something that's been frustrating the Heat for many months about this kid, I would think.
Why'd he go with a loser tattoo in the first place? I mean, it's an odd thing to tattoo on yourself.
Well,
hey, I'm a loser.
You're right, but I don't think the V was put there because he realized his mistake after the fact and got a second tattoo. I think that was an original idea that he had all together.
Well, actually, it's not an original idea. This template is quite popular. You'll see it a lot, that exact same style over the internet. He was clearly influenced by it, but it's a bad tattoo because, yes, before you put the V on, you're tattooing loser on your bicep, and then you finish the job. But you briefly got loser. I mean, you still got loser on your arm.
I thought maybe he got pranked.
It could also be like he's a loser 5 times over.
He like woke up and like, what? Who did this? Oh, man.
Roman numeral 5? You think he went Roman numeral 5, not just merely a loser, but 5-time multiplier. with the V. Okay. It is a bad decision. I still maintain, though, the worst tattoo in the history of the league. I think it was Yao Ming who revealed this, that Kenyon Martin, was it Kenyon Martin?
Kmart.
Had a tattoo that he thought said warrior in a Chinese symbol, and Yao Ming said it said noodles.
Oh. But only Yao knew that. I mean,
Well,
right?
not only Yao, a lot of people.
Yes, you understand what I'm saying.
Noodles are great. What's wrong
I was
with
going to
that?
say, if it's going to be a word, that's not a bad mistake word. Could be worse.
I suppose it could, yes, when it comes
could be
to
loser.
symbols. Getting away from Wear, though, because while I find this small part of it interesting, right, because I don't think it's just public motivation, I would say that Spo knows the power of his words when I say he's a very media-savvy person, and he knows whether it's fair or not, because I don't think it's fair, that when he places that there for Wear, and I as a journalist am making the mental leap with a single word from there to Hassan Whiteside. And I'm not the only one who is doing that, because of how unusual it is for this organization to do things like that, where he's saying already, we know you have talent, but you're not fitting here with what it is that we do because you're not professional every day. There's not a lot of insults, actually, that you can give one of the guys growing up in that furnace across the street surrounded by roosters that is bigger than that one. You're not professional.
But don't you think Spo makes the insult because he knows the player can handle the insult? You'd like to think that, right? Like he made the mistake with Whiteside, and he's not going to make the same mistake.
Or he'd like to see if he's capable.
My only point is my only point on it is because he made the mistake with Whiteside. This can't be Whiteside, guys. Whiteside is one of the all-time knuckleheads in the history of the league. I'm being unfair by making the leap to Whiteside. But Spo did that to me. This organization did that to me because of how rarely they say, we've got an unprofessional in the building. We've got somebody here who represents all the things that Udonis Haslem isn't.
But how many times did Spo have this conversation with Wear privately before it came to this? That's what I'm getting at. This is something that implies it has really been building and building and building to finally get to this
I guess
point.
my point is the stain on this one is hard to get out. It's there now. Even if he goes off for the next 6 months, it's still – the coach volunteered something on an employee, a very careful coach, planted something. I know you can all look at this and say, it doesn't mean anything. You can. It's a silly little thing in the middle of summer. This organization doesn't do this, and this is a piece that they are counting on, not unlike what Bam grew into, to be something that proves that they're right about we shouldn't trade this for Kevin Durant. And so they're alerting him now by publicly shaming him in a way that's unusual for the organization and unusual for that man, that particular man, because Riley does some of this. That guy's got to live with it, though. That guy's got it in his locker room. Riley does it from on high. Riley wanders around the building and shouts it from on high, but that guy has to live with these people, and he just told everyone else in the locker room that their young guy's not professional, and then he told us too, which they usually don't let that out of the locker room.
Yeah, suppose a Pat Riley disciple, and Pat would, correct me if I'm wrong, he would occasionally challenge people publicly in the media. It wouldn't necessarily land great all the time. Spo very rarely does something like this, and it could just be an isolated incident. It could have happened if the flames weren't as high around this organization as, quite frankly, as they've ever really been. But I'm not ignoring the timing. This again, I do think there's part of it. Hey, we had an opportunity to get one of the game's greatest players, a player that we have flirted with multiple times over and never brought here, and you were a tipping point. We did not want to cross that bridge. We did not want to include you in a package for Kevin Durant. You need to reward the faith that we have in you with a professionalism and an approach that makes us have faith that you can meet your ceiling.
I think this just reveals that Spo voted to keep Wear, and now he's feeling the pressure of, we had a 5-headed thing here. I voted to keep Wear along with probably Nick Harrison, so now I'm feeling the pressure of, hey, I turned down Durant for you. Get your shit together.
Guys, the home run derby was yesterday. The All-Star game's today, and ESPYs are tomorrow. Who gives a shit about the Miami Heat?
Right.
Whoa.
Well, LeBron to the Heat.
That's not happening.
We're talking about Khalil Wear, though. I mean, he responded last night, 21-15.
Many are saying. To Billy's point,
So
this
important.
this LeBron to the Heat thing is like, really manufactured by people that are just looking at numbers and trying to make it work. But I mean, LeBron's at the Cavs facility. There's very clearly, I think, and yesterday he was congratulating Brandon Weems. He is openly flirting with Cleveland. It seems like that's the move, and we're just trying to get in the conversation almost to a sad point.
It's pandering by the media, and I hate to say that. Look, a couple of months ago at the onset of summer, I wrote a column with the names Durant and Giannis in the headline. So I'm not above pandering, but at this point, when you say LeBron to the Heat, ? It seems so preposterous that I don't even know if it should be lent credence.
Okay, it is delightful, though, as we wonder still about his options or lack of options. But to Billy's point, though, the All-Star game, and Shane Gillis, he made me laugh because he's going to do the ESPYs here, and he's pretty self-aware. And he says that he hasn't done very much prep, but he just laughed to himself realizing how funny it is, him in a tuxedo just walking across a big stage. He's like, that's going to be so awkward as someone who's not terribly comfortable in his own body. He's going to be walking in front of athletes, standing in front of them, and he doesn't know how to make the walk on the stage without appearing to walk like a dork because he walks like he walks. How long a walk is that going to be where he's going to do his move of moving his hands to the side before he lands in a nervous place performing before athletes he respects?
I caught up on the dialogue around it. I was surprised at your take that he might be afraid to go at athletes because he reveres them so much. Billy was smart to point out the Saban, the Indiana, the Alabama Jones line made that so wonderfully awkward. I revisit that clip. I don't think Shane's going to be scared one bit.
Who's asking him to wear a tuxedo at the ESPYs? It's the ESPYs.
I don't
he
know.
Should go for a tux for that.
I don't know why it is he was worried about just the walk on the stage. He didn't seem terribly worried about the monologue because he's funny.
Well, he's good at that.
He's got writers. Yeah. Well, it's hard. It's a hard thing to be good at. 10 minutes funny, lonely on a stage. Most people aren't brave enough to do that, right? It's
stand-up comedians are pretty good at it.
Yeah.
It's kind of his
sort
job.
of what they do.
And so he's got to get out there and perform. There is pressure on it, right? We haven't seen Chris Rock since that Netflix special. Like, there's pressure on doing that. It's not the easiest thing in the world.
I don't think it's because of pressure. I think Chris Rock just got paid, and now he doesn't need to go around doing all this stuff.
And you're interested in the ESPYs? You're going
Not
to be
really.
Okay. So you brought it up to just get us off LeBron. But
Just kind of trying to
Get us off where?
Yeah,
Big dumper.
I will admit I haven't voted on the ESPYs yet. Have polls closed yet? Because I can vote live now on air if you guys would like. We can make it a poll thing, or you guys can do it together. You guys want to vote for the ESPYs together? I remember, like, as a youth, going to like McDonald's or Burger King or whatever, voting for the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, going to the All-Star or voting for the All-Star game at stadiums, voting for the ESPYs. It used to be so much fun. Now elections are all about politics.
Mm-hmm. People love voting, don't they?
There was something cool about
Not
going
enough.
to a ballpark and getting the paper ballot.
That's your take? People love voting? No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that people love voting.
They will when we can't anymore.
They oddly did in 2020. Look into that.
I don't know why you would look into a camera in 2025 and say people love voting.
They love voting.
There's no statistical proof of what you're saying.
Love Island got a ton of votes.
A meaningless vote. How about this? People love just like, two options. What are like chocolate or vanilla?
Yeah.
Well, that's what the ESPYs live on. They have 19 categories, and they allow you to vote. And all of a sudden, you're voting for a guy riding a bicycle. 4 options. You've never heard of any of them. You're picking the name you hate the least, and people love voting. I stand by it.
Put it on the poll, Juju. Do people like voting on polls at Le Batard Show?
You can still vote on the ESPYs today. I'm on the website right now. If you
I'm
guys,
doing
there's
it,
18 categories. If you want to do this real quick, best male athlete: Saquon, Josh Allen, SGA, or Ohtani. What do we think?
Saquon.
I went Saquon. Yeah,
Really?
Great voted for him. Yep.
It's not.
Ohtani.
Voting hasn't closed. There's still
boy.
taking
That
votes.
is crazy.
Still time, Dan.
It's like Stewie voting.
If
want
we
in?
assume, it's, up
All
to
right.
me.
Well, I was delighted. If you guys could, I don't know if they take any write-ins or if you could foul up
They
that
don't.
vote at all by just voting for things that shouldn't be winning.
Write-ins.
I really enjoyed the other day watching a video because while I don't love I don't love voting the way that you do. I will watch lists on video if you give me the moments of the last decade. And I was watching a video the other day of the top 10 moments in sports of the last decade. They were all great. They were all moving. And right in the middle of it, Bartolo Colon hitting a home run.
Wow.
And it was one of the top 10 moments, and I'm like, that's a well-made list.
Yes.
That belongs
Deserving.
in there.
Yes.
So I'm
Not number 10, like in the middle.
Yes, that right in the middle. It was like number 6, and I'm like, that's where it should be.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Maybe slightly higher.
It was his first home run. It was a big fat guy running around the bases that we'd been make fun of for a few years for being a big fat guy.
PSA, if you hit skip on the ESPY voting because you want to go back, you're thinking about it, you can't go back. Whoa. I now am no longer eligible to vote for best male athlete.
That's a flaw.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Controversy.
Make sure it's a male.
Billy, I was remiss yesterday that you were not here because I have fallen into an algorithm, and I don't know if this has happened to you, where Jose Canseco material just continues to end up in my feed, and I can't stop watching it, even though it makes some of it makes me sad, and some of it's great and funny. And we were talking yesterday just about the fact that how rare it is for a Cuban meathead to rise to the top of sports, how difficult it is to explain what Jose Canseco is to a generation of children who would have no idea what it is to have a Cuban superhero cartoon meathead, not grown up, never grown up, still not grown up.
He was at my elementary school's fair one year. Like
Was he?
festival. Yeah, you could pay for an autograph of Jose Canseco.
Was it Ozzy?
We didn't pay for it. It was pricey. It was like $40 for
No,
Jose
but
Canseco.
do you know if it was actually Jose or he sent
You
it
never
to
know, Mike.
I don't think I was there the day that it happened. It was too much of a thing. And it was right by the old Jose Canseco Street before they took that down and they renamed it Ram Road. Yeah.
In disgrace.
He had a street.
Yeah, he
Some
did
of
have a
these
street.
some of these categories I think are created just to give specific people awards. Like best record-breaking performance, Kevin Durant, U.S. Olympic basketball all-time scorer.
Please.
Why would I
Right.
vote for that over Ovechkin, NHL all-time goals leader? Caitlin Clark, WNBA single-game assists leader, single-season assists leader.
That would be wild if a single game assist beat.
Well, let's do that.
Gretzky record.
What I'm saying is let's see if our people can go and contaminate the vote. No, but that would be great. If indeed in a small category where there's not a lot of voting, if our listeners can affect the vote, we can have a Lewis Brinson moment.
Is this like the VMAs where they just award whoever shows up?
We don't know enough about it, so probably.
Yeah, we think so.
It certainly improves your chances. But yeah, that would be great. Let's vote for Kevin Durant over a guy breaking a Gretzky record.
I voted for
Unbreakable.
Caitlin. Yeah.
Forgive me, I want to get to something, but it's now the second time in a couple of weeks we've mentioned the Lewis Brinson stuff, and I don't know if the audience knows all the details there, and I know I don't know all the details there because I think you guys got in trouble with people at ESPN because I think we actually affected the voting one year, and we were going to get Lewis Brinson in the All-Star game until somebody in the commissioner's office came sniffing around like, we can't have that happen. And then in the shadows, wait, hold on a second.
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation.
You're good.
What happened there? What happened? What's the Lewis Brinson situation? What's the truth?
He's a podcast now.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sweet Lou.
Nice.
What's the truth about the Lewis Brinson thing? I don't know what happened there. We started voting for him. We were asking because you could vote for the All-Star game, so we wanted to vote for Lewis Brinson, who the Marlins got in the trade for Christian Yelich, who went on to win the MVP that season.
And he was not having an all-star
He was under
season.
200. He was hitting under 200 at a time when
important
no
detail.
one was doing that. That was back before baseball changed, and it was everybody.
Well, some say that he was a pioneer in that sense, where he didn't worry about the batting average.
Right. Ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Granted, he didn't have the homers to back it up.
Don't worry
either,
about the
but-
power either.
Yeah. But-
The joke was we were going to get Lewis Brinson in the All-Star game because he had the lowest batting average in the league and clearly didn't belong in the All-Star
Well,
game.
no, but it was just kind of like, that was kind of what it was. But also, like the NHL, like the season before,
John Scott
had done a similar thing. So we thought, why can't we do this with a Marlin at the All-Star game and see if we can get him in and get the most votes? And then it became somewhat of a movement, and people around the country were taking Lewis Brinson All-Star game signs to the games and sending us pictures. And he never showed up anywhere in the voting. And we would do it, and it's honestly one of my largest professional regrets is that whole thing. But we were doing that, and then we kept wondering every time like the ballots would come out, like, why are we not seeing him anywhere? We know people are actually doing this, and how many people are actually voting for the MLB All-Star Game in the year of our Lord 2018. So we thought that just show up in the top 10. It was suspicious how he didn't show up anywhere. And then we started reading like the fine print on the rules and regulations, and it said that the commissioner's office can throw out any votes that they deem whatever.
Yeah.
It was basically like we can consider any votes we want and throw out any votes we don't want. And then we read that on air, and then we got okay, we're done playing with this now on ESPN Radio. Thank you. It was fun while it lasted, but no more mentions of that because I don't know if you remember, Dan, we had a couple months prior to that an interview with Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, that did not go well. Mm-hmm. So after that, they did not want us to follow that up with accusing the commissioner's office of potentially throwing out votes in the All-Star Game ballots.
Baseball has to protect the mighty integrity of its game. That's why they just let in a guy who's played 5 games into the All-Star Game. 5 career games.
Be deposed.
The worst interview a professional sports commissioner has ever done. I'd like to get to Billy's top 5 professional
He wasn't entirely
regrets.
to blame for that.
Same.
Vince McMahon almost killed Bob Costas one time.
Top 5 professional regrets. I didn't realize that was one of them. I would love to dig around until you and I would do dueling top 5.
Not top 5. It's
professional
one of
regrets.
my largest professional regrets. Just because I didn't consider the fact that there was a human being on the other side of this stunt.
Right. We never really got full buy-in from Lewis Brinson.
Well, this is where Billy felt the worst, right? Because Brinson was hitting 168, and then at the time, this is the part, as I recall, that got Billy to say, you know what, this isn't very nice, what I've done here. It's when he was quoted as saying, I appreciate the support, guys, but y'all go vote for JT Real Muto or Starlin Castro.
Someone who deserves it.
Luckily, we could vote for both of them.
Yeah, you can vote for all of them. They're different positions.
Yes, but he then said, I appreciate the love. I haven't done my job. And it was that last sentence that Billy was like, okay.
I was checking in from afar. I would ask reporters that were in the locker room, like, how's this going over?
Yeah, he didn't think it was funny.
No, they were like, I don't think he's aware enough to realize. It's like, okay, that's not nice to say, but now I don't feel as bad.
Yes, well, but that attitude, yes, when I was in Major League clubhouses a long time ago, and I would stare at Renee Latchman after writing a column questioning all of his decisions in the 5th inning.
Latch.
And he would storm across the clubhouse and be yelling at me because he's like, you don't take any of this seriously enough. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, you're in your underwear. There's a certain respect that baseball has for baseball that we don't have for baseball.
I mean, it all worked out in the end. Lewis Brinson now, successful podcaster with a very real podcast.
Listen up. Time to think fast. Is this a real or fake podcast?
All right, who are we playing the game with? Is this with Cody? Who are the participants?
You guys figure it out.
There.
You just weigh in. First one, Papa Squat with Jonathan LaCroix.
Papa Squat.
I would say no. It's too brilliant. Too good a name.
Papa Squat with former outspoken catcher Jonathan LaCroix.
Such a good idea.
Yeah.
Who were you doing there? That was just a helpful tip for the audience.
Sometimes I read the podcast bios.
Can I hear it again? Just
Papa Squat with Jonathan LaCroix.
yeah.
Real.
Say
no.
No.
It's fake.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right. With Winky Wright.
Yes. Who's Winky Wright?
Boxer from the early 2000s.
Right.
Pretty good.
I say yes.
What's the name?
Yeah, right. With Winky Wright.
You can ask him to repeat it every time.
I say it's real.
What are
Dan?
you doing, Stugotz? What are you doing?
I just need to hear it again.
I know,
you
but
know?
you were typing while he was talking.
Yeah,
I was
right.
looking up Winky Wrights. I mean,
There's right, but it's his last name.
No, that's not. That's
One
not
of Nick
a podcast.
Wright's 50 podcasts.
That is a fake podcast.
it's too bad.
Too bad, Winky. Yeah.
Slab Lab with Dallas Braden. Slab Lab with Dallas Braden.
I'm playing percentages. One of these has to be real. I'm going to say it's real.
I gotta say no.
No, really. You think a group of people got together in a marketing mood, and they're like, "What do we call the mound? What do we call it? We want to teach people about the mountain. The slab? What rhymes with slab? Slab lab.
It's real.
Yeah!
Slab Lab with Dallas Braden.
Yep. Wow. Know your podcast.
Roughhausen with Kelvin Gastelum.
Wow. Roughhausen. Can I hear it again?
Roughhausen
No, stop.
with Kelvin Gastelum.
Stugotz.
Okay.
This isn't a spelling bee. Can I hear it again?
No,
Sentence.
I say no. Fake pod.
Ooh. Real pod?
No.
Fake pod.
Oh.
C-ball, get ball with David Pollock.
That's rising.
Yes.
C-ball,
pod.
get ball is rising.
That is a real pod. Dan's all over these charts trying to win at this game. I don't know if it's because he owns a media business
I've
or
been
he wants to
studying
win.
them. What's next? Let me see if I got a Papa squat.
The more you know with Al Groh.
It should be.
Oh.
See, that should
I'd
be.
listen to it.
No,
Al
you would
Groh?
not. Al Groh,
You're
one of the
right.
great boring interviews of all time. You would listen to it.
He grows on you.
Damn, that should have been the fake name. It's fake. Al Groh's
He
not
he
podcasting.
grows on you with Al Groh. It's absolutely something I'd be more interested in.
Can you imagine him installing a podcast mic?
Locally here, the controversial story that I wanted to get to that really celebrates one of the great South Florida sports careers of all time. Teddy Bridgewater, what he has accomplished from Miami's streets in 15 years and Miramar's streets, what he has accomplished in the pros was impressive enough, just getting to the pros and being one of the few people allowed to play quarterback. But then coming here locally, becoming a state champion football coach, and now after he's left, being suspended for an investigation of, he evidently was using some of his wealth and helping out the kids.
Imagine that.
And
They won the state championship last
Yeah,
year.
pretty
yeah,
good
but
coach.
it's like this is the rare instance. I mean, you get so few of these where an athlete is getting suspended and everyone is siding with the athlete. Where Teddy Bridgewater's like, I'll take my suspension. You guys don't realize I don't work there anymore. You can't suspend me. And also, I did a nice thing for people because I'm rich.
So he was a volunteer coach, so he didn't get a salary. And the suspension, I believe, is for improper benefits, which sounds, not great until you see what the improper benefits were. And according to Jordan Schultz, Bridgewater personally covered $14,000 for training camp, $9,500 for team pride sets, $2,000 a week for pregame meals, $1,300 a week for recovery, $700 a week for Ubers, and more. And that's what he is being suspended for.
Yeah, he ran a football factory and won the state championship because he came out of the huddle as a professional quarterback with millions and decided to run a little local team to the state championship.
And he didn't take a salary. I mean,
Little local team. The ragtag Northwestern
they're
Bowl.
better than the Jets. I mean,
But he was talked about as the head coach of the team. Like I would hear Big Dog
No,
talking
that's
on the
correct.
way in.
Right. No,
As
he
a
Can't
volunteer.
so
How
it's
the
just
girls
like
treating you?
a technicality where it's just like he is the head coach, but technically I'm a volunteer.
You got to work on that rusty Big Dog.
How the ladies treating you?
Yes,
Always the first question.
Teddy Bridgewater. I know that Stugotz was in Tahoe telling Kachuk that he's on the Mount Rushmore, and I don't think anybody's going to put Bridgewater on the Mount Rushmore. But in terms of South Florida athletes who have had a long and distinguished career that has given South Florida pride, I ask you this question. Locally, doesn't South Florida take more pride in Teddy Bridgewater than in Lamar Jackson?
He's more Miami. He's seen as more local, right? Lamar Jackson was Palm Beach, right? Like Boca or
yeah.
Or
not
anybody.
quite Miami.
Doesn't Teddy Bridgewater represent South Florida? When I think of greatest athletes in the history of South Florida, okay, Canseco's in there somewhere. I don't know who the top four would be for you guys, but I'm talking about people who grew up here and then wrote, like the Venus and Serena Williams.
Yeah. At Class Act, there's a pretty wide gulf between the top tier and Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
He's not even Udonis Haslam level because Udonis, when he was a pro, he did it here too in the same community. But that being said, what Teddy did with Northwestern last year, while he was the face of that program. Leaving, remember, he had opportunities. He did try to ring chase a little bit there with the Detroit Lions, but he had suitors still in the NFL, and he wanted to give back to his high school program. And I think over time, if he remains down here coaching in the local ranks, his legacy will only grow.
How's this story going to get corrupted in coming days, though? Is someone going to say, no, he was buying players? Like, how is this?
That's probably – I mean, it can be – that's why he's being suspended. This is a perk. Keep in mind, as of last year in this state, high school athletes can receive NIL money. The state legalized that. So there are more proper ways to make sure some of your athletes at your high school programs get financially compensated.
Northwestern should build a statue of this guy, not suspend him.
Yep, promote him. Yes.
Don Staley shouldn't get a statue, but
Right.
Teddy Bridgewater
Well,
should.
it's a local statue.
Right.
There are local statues and national statues.
It's a different statue.
Now he wants statues.
Teddy
But a
deserves
local one.
Teddy deserves a statue right in front of the school.
Now,
okay, but
while this is obviously awesome that he's doing it for these kids, it is not fair to other schools, right? That one school can have somebody with a lot of money.
What, do they have a coach that's willing to coach for free and use his money to make the team better?
I wish every school had a Teddy Bridgewater.
Right.
I'm not anti what he's doing, but I do get the aspect of this is not like we don't have this. Like if I'm another school that doesn't have a former NFL quarterback as my coach.
How will local South Florida high school football programs be able to compete with this ragtag Northwestern program?
Dan says goodbye, sweet Clevelander.
I should tell the audience that we've got a bit of an emotional week, I would say, here this week as we are leaving this studio. It's been an eventful 2 years where the show has struggled and groaned under the weight of trying to build a business. And we're going to move into new studios. Everything is moving after, I think it's close to 10 years here. And we're going to remember some of the things from the Clevelander because as expensive as the property value has gotten around here, the neighborhood has really deteriorated. There has been
so is my health.
There has been a lot of
But that's your fault.
shootings here recently and assassinations, plural. And we need to get out of here. And next
And that
week,
move is brought to you by Miller Lite. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
next week is going to be a little bit difficult because we're going to be in the change, and these are not your problems, they are our problems, but we ask for yet more patience after 2 years of trying to build this thing. We're excited about getting into new studios, and we will remember the Clevelander throughout the rest of the week here because one of the great memories I have, Stugotz, it really is one of my favorites as I've gotten late in life and have learned to appreciate some of this nonsense that we get to do every day, is the weekend before we were going to go on ESPN radio and start with whatever it is we were doing with them. They were going to make this studio look like all the other studios, which is just blue paneling behind us that would be nondescript. And my brother and I spent the entire weekend here putting all of this stuff up. And the reason that it's one of my favorite memories is because I remember the screaming phone calls on Monday when no one had been informed that that's what we would look like. And they didn't want us to look like that. Or no one had given them a heads up, I should say. It's not that they didn't want us to look like that. It's that they were going for homogenized at the beginning, and we put up all these tiles that we're at some point here going to just auction off because they've been here for 10 years representing us as we make a move to become a bigger business. We've got, Mike, do you know how many employees we have now? I don't know how many employees we have now.
I walked in to today's pre-production.
This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Chris Cody, can you get me that Francesa sound, please? Because I wanted to talk a little bit about Superman and the movies with David Samson from Nothing Personal. Greg Cody yesterday had a blasphemous statement, I thought, on the movie Jaws, celebrating its 50th anniversary. Greg Cody, I thought, was the only person in the world who had this public take that was eviscerating Jaws as a movie, doesn't hold up, and just savaging it in every direction, when I'm pretty sure he couldn't mention and name an actor from Ocean's 11.
What is that got to do with Jaws?
Yeah.
It's a
Dean
non sequitur.
Dean Martin. I would have fed it to you, but I know you just would have been like, that's right.
That's a good point. But don't misquote me on Jaws. What I said was the Jaws, the shark itself, was very fake, and it doesn't hold up well. 50 years later, you look back on it, you almost laugh through the movie now because look at that. Look at what was scaring everybody 50 years ago. Come on.
I think that's fair. I think at the time, Jaws was amazing. It was trailblazing.
Yes.
But, Dan, I mean, 50 years later, that thing does not hold up.
All right. Put it on the poll. Does Jaws hold up at Le Batard Show? Also, I will just say again, as I did yesterday, that Steven Spielberg could have made exactly the same movie. And if indeed they'd gone with the title, What's That Gnawing on My Leg?, Spielberg would not have had a career after Jaws. It would have ended right there. David Samson is with us now, but Jeremy had a number of objections yesterday to you, Greg Cody, and I want to start this as a new segment or something just where somebody listens to the previous day's show that they were not on and comes with their critique of how poorly we covered something. Jeremy had objection to how it is that you were celebrating the Midsummer All-Star Game Classic.
We go into All-Star Week, and the two things that we spoke about in baseball were Greg complaining that a young phenom is going to get to pitch on a national stage, and then accusing the coolest story in Major League Baseball, now home run derby champion Cal Raleigh, of being on steroids. Because we can't enjoy anything.
Okay.
Nothing can be cool. Nothing can be exciting. Having joy around something in sports, we have to be jaded. We have to undercut it. And it sucks. It was so shitty that we had to just spend our baseball coverage on that. So what? We could celebrate Conor McGregor? I mean, really?
Okay, let me make a couple of comments real quick. I stand behind not allowing a guy who's pitched 5 career games.
Behind it or by it?
To be an instant all-star.
Behind it, he said.
I stand behind that.
Yeah.
I stand by it. I stand just in front of it.
Good.
I stand all around it. I'm a
Attaboy.
wall
You're
around
entrenched.
that.
Yes.
I'm a wall around that opinion.
Yep.
Okay, as for this guy, Cal Raleigh, I never said he was on steroids. I said that we have come to a point where when somebody comes out of nowhere and has 38 home runs by the break, it would be natural to wonder, and that's a sad situation.
Which is why I ended up receiving multiple messages last night after celebrating the home run derby with that guy's on roids. I've only been thinking about it since you guys brought it up today.
Okay.
All
So
right. He might be or he might not be.
No, he's not.
No, don't do that.
Okay,
Well,
what
we don't
else?
know
how do
that
you know,
certainly.
Jeremy?
Yeah, he
I mean,
might and he might not
right.
be.
Because the... Okay.
I bet
That's
you
how we're
thought
gonna
in
celebrate sports?
1998, yeah, Mark
Gotcha.
McGuire and Sammy Sosa were clean.
Do you know
Okay.
this is the first year, I think, since 1998 where there's 4 players with 30 homers or more at the All-Star break? Really cool for baseball, but, it's a shame.
You got to wonder.
Steroids.
Yeah,
Fool
another-
me
I think
once.
5 players.
Another quick thing about Cal Raleigh. We all love a great nickname, right? Even when it's a ridiculous one. Nothing extraordinary about his ass. Just nothing out of the ordinary. He has a
Really?
normal, for a man his size, for a man his height and weight, he has a very average derriere. Okay? I'm going to be the one to say it.
It's no Larry Fitzgerald. I'm with you. It's been overhyped.
Yeah,
When you hear Big Dumper, everyone's talking about it. Base broadcast zooming in on it. I did see it. I was a little underwhelmed.
It's an average bum.
His dad's was terrible. Terrible butt for the dad.
Yeah.
Almost non-existent.
All right, so David Samson's been waiting here for 4 minutes. He's perturbed. Go ahead, David. Do you have any commentary? Chris Cody hasn't been able to get off all his derby takes. Chris Cody came in here. I've rarely seen him this excited to talk about something that was on television the day before.
I have a lot to say on it. I don't like I thought ESPN. I did not see I've never missed more home runs in a home run derby than last night. I don't know who was running their cameras. It was the worst job ever. It was still an enjoyable derby, though. We had a kid rob a home run. Cal Raleigh getting into the semifinal by less than an inch. If I'm Brent Rooker, I am like, this is bullshit. He literally, because the way they do it is they all go the first round. The top 4 home runs make it through. There was a tie for 4th, 17 home runs each, and it's judged by the longest home run distance. Less than an inch was Cal Raleigh's furthest home run.
It's a game of inches.
That is just so hard to track. I want to see the replay of those 2 home runs.
Yeah,
David,
seriously.
talk to me. Like, I was furious on Brent Rooker's behalf.
I told part of a story on this morning's Nothing Personal about how we did it in 2017 and how you would just be absolutely shocked when we had Stanton and Bohr and Aaron Judge won that home run derby. Before the home run derby, we had gone into the outfield with the architect and we had assigned distances to different sections. So if a home run lands in left field, 5 rows up, it's 405. If it lands in right field, 10 rows up, it's 442. And if it's 11 rows up, it's 444. And so that we had a chart. And what you do is even during the regular season, you have a chart. And when someone hits a home run, you have the PR guy in the press box who looks at the chart and then gets on the microphone. You've all been in a press box. Home run number 18 by Dan Uggla, 422 feet. And everyone writes it down and says, all right, he hit one 422. We totally make it up. It's completely based on working with the architect on a general range of where the ball lands. Now, is it true in today's analytic world that they can measure a home run by the inch? I highly doubt it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
And imagine that. Imagine giving the benefit of the doubt by less than an inch to the wonderkind Cal Raleigh and wanting him to advance.
So now not
Imagine
only
that.
questioning
What a
whether or not
coincidence.
he's on performance-enhancing drugs, but whether or not the home run derby was rigged in his favor, because
Correct.
David, the guy who made up attendance numbers, says that he also made up how far home runs were hit when there is actual data behind all of it. I just love us being the
Jeremy,
questioning
we're
people.
not saying it's rigged. We're just saying it's ridiculous that they're trying to tell us that they know for a fact that one home run ball went less than an inch further than another. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, using the StatCast data is probably better than just making it up. But
The
I
rule
don't
should
know.
be if it's less than a foot, we do a hit off.
Yes.
Like, what are we doing here?
Jack
less
off.
than an inch?
It's got to be a jack
Hey.
off.
All right.
What do
That
you-
too.
A hit off.
Swing off, they call it, don't
I
they?
didn't want to say a jack
It's
off.
a swing off, Dan. It's not a jag off.
Thank you. Swing off.
You're hitting jacks, yes or no?
Yes.
I thought you said jag off.
A jack off.
Okay,
jack
hold
off.
on a second. This guy.
Thank you.
Jag-off
this
would
guy-
be Trevor Lawrence or Mark
You know
Brunell.
what? Jesus, Samson, keep up, would you?
I mean, first one to come wins.
Look what you've done, Samson.
What happened?
Look, you lured out. Look, you lured out the subtlety of Stugotz. You guys didn't even notice this. It was a wonderful moment in the middle of all of that nonsense. All right, right in the middle of it. Stugotz, with you guys arguing about the stupidity of this measurement system, said, "It's a game of inches, Dano," and then whispered in my ear. That was a bleeping tight ass window. I got that in. Like I still got my
Chris took a breath,
I still got my fastball, baby. It's a game of inches, Dano. It is a game of inches, and conspiracy theorists unite. We will foul up wonderful stories. We will question a man's ass and say it is insufficient for us that we don't believe he deserves his fun nickname.
Right.
Because
Live up to the nickname.
I have no conspiracy theory about this. I'm not saying anything was rigged. I'm just saying it's absurd that you're trying to tell me that that was decided by less than an inch. It's ridiculous.
I have to believe that broadcast had some major issues because they put Ravitch and our friend Eduardo on field level, and they were blocked by players, so couldn't see. So what you hear is, oh, that one's deep, and then they would show it falling like in short right field. And so they weren't able to really see the ball. And then the cameras weren't proper, so
Terrible.
I couldn't see.
Yeah.
513 feet, I want to see it. I want to live with that for like 15 seconds. And instead, I don't even know what happened. No replay, no nothing, except some sort of funky thing which shows the ball hitting the bat. Don't care. I want to see how far it goes. I think that ESPN had some definite issues there. But that said, home run derbies are really hard for the players. They're super, super tired. And you got to compliment Junior Caminero. the ability to hit 8 home runs and to advance knowing that you only needed 8, going second is the greatest advantage ever, but it didn't work in the final round. But generally, it's a huge advantage.
You guys were really excited about this thing.
It was great.
It was fun to watch.
It was long.
But I'm with, like, it was frustrating and fun. I felt like I didn't see half the home runs. You were just seeing the ticker count up. It's like, didn't see that one, didn't see that one.
The pitches are too quick. By the time the ball lands, the guy's pitching again already.
Because there's a clock.
Yeah.
I mean, they changed the format again, but this one seemed to work better than the previous ones, and they got away from the bracket until the second rounds when they got back to the bracket, which was fine. I mean, it was okay. They're tinkering with it still. We're never going to see 28 in a round again like we did with Josh Hamilton, just because they keep changing the rules.
I was going to text Jeremy before the home run derby tonight. America gets to meet my beloved Junior Caminero.
Oh, that guy's good.
But I discovered him.
Eyebrows.
Well, but
those eyebrows are fantastic.
They really are.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I was discovering that guy last night.
I took a flyer on him.
Well, but so he came up to the big leagues early last year, and as soon as I saw him swing, I'm like, holy shit, he hits everything. Everything's a line drive. He's got a beautiful swing, and he's just starting his career.
In 2023, Julio Rodriguez hit 41.
Did he also make the All-Star game after 4 games?
Somebody was talking there. Do you not listen when other people here are talking? Billy was giving information there, and you just steamrolled him, so we didn't understand either one of you.
Yeah, I didn't know who started first. I thought I started first.
Let's try it again.
Did you not hear him? Were you not listening? Because you just kept talking. He was giving information, trying to run you off the road, and it didn't seem at any point like you knew Billy was talking.
Right. Yeah, when somebody tries to run me off the road, I put both hands on the wheel. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Greg is that asshole that won't let anybody in.
You have to.
If somebody's like got the blinker on, like, hey, I missed the I need to get in here. My dad will speed up to the car in front of him. Like, no, you can't.
Right.
You're doing it to someone else, not me.
I
not
apologize,
today.
Billy. I apologize.
It's okay.
You know, the working conditions in here, I'm sweating like a pig.
Very hot.
It's like 1,000 degrees in here.
Well, it's because you're wearing that same shirt you wear every day, and it's a long sleeve shirt, and it's the middle of summer.
It was also the pandemic. He had the mask.
Yeah,
earlier.
I mean, it's
Bad
not,
arm
it's
week.
not just that. It's like a sauna bath in here.
I want to give baseball credit because I was not going to watch the All-Star game, not even on a second or third screen today. But I did ask Jeremy a question, and he looked it up. And apparently, Major League Baseball is going back to players representing their teams by wearing their primary home and road uniforms. And that was always aesthetically pleasing. I stopped watching the Major League All-Star game when they just wore these uniforms that were cash grabs, that they wanted to sell these jerseys. I used to tune in and love to see the spectrum of colors and see all the different teams' uniforms on the field at the exact same time.
What's a Royal doing here?
Major League Baseball, credit to you. This is the right call.
I said earlier we were never going to see 28 home runs in a round again after Josh Hamilton in 2023. Julio Rodriguez hit 41 in a round.
That's what he was trying to say when you ran him off the road. But let's
What was Greg saying?
Let's explore. Yes, let's explore both that and what your son is examining, which is you are the Miami driver that is the most stubborn of all of the history of Miami drivers.
He is road rage. Like,
Petty.
a man gets angry.
Petty.
behind
Well,
the wheel.
he will be in his car, and if he has felt in any way like you are being an inconsiderate driver, he will stubbornly behave with his car the way he has for 70 years as a human.
He hasn't been driving for 70 years.
Thank you,
refusing to yield an inch. Thank you, an important correction.
Yeah.
54 years he's been driving stubbornly, and his car represents him. And you were saying what when you ran Billy off the road?
I can't even recall.
Oh.
It's fine. We move forward.
Yep.
Yeah.
Apparently
we went
it was
back
a big
to it.
deal because Le Batard keeps going back to it. But I'm a kind driver.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for adding nothing.
Wait a minute. I thought you were the one being penalized for adding nothing.
No.
You're the one who brought up that I interrupted Billy. That's adding nothing.
Right.
This is a travesty.
It's cooler in there, though, Greg.
Seriously, I'm going to come back wearing a towel.
Come back
sitting
shirtless.
on a rock. It's like a sauna
That's
in
fine.
here.
Come back shirtless, or go sauna. Go sauna in the sauna room shirtless. That'll be a good visual for us. My beloved Rays are going to sell for $1.7 billion. And your thoughts were what there, David? Because they are a remarkable major league run team that feels minor league in every way, even though they're smarter than just about anybody about how to teach people how to play correct baseball.
Yeah, I don't really look at them as minor league at all. They are the model franchise, and getting $1.7 billion for that, it's really on the come. And you're hoping that the owner doesn't run into a housing crisis because his money comes from home building, basically. But it's a great exit for Stu Sternberg. He very much wanted to relocate the team back to New Jersey or somewhere in the Northeast. And baseball under Bud and Rob, they were just never going to allow it. He was never going to do the Montreal deal. He was never going to build in St. Petersburg. And the Hurricane ended up being the perfect out. And he got a price that he and his investors wanted. And now it's an issue that baseball has to deal with because they have a new owner at a high cost basis, $1.7 billion, who is running a team who is going to be very much in favor of opportunities to win. Therefore, trying to eliminate the payroll disparities that exist between, say, the Dodgers and the Rays, and will become an issue in terms of the vote and a new collective bargaining agreement. So you're trading in one problem for another. Sometimes it's the devil you know. But that trade at 1.7, for me, it's a negative for baseball, not a positive. The Orioles went for 1.73. And what you're trying to do is be like the NBA or NFL, where your prices continue to go up into the multi-billions, and it just didn't happen.
Wait, so you think I've got this wrong on Tampa reputationally because of the lack of a stadium and because the previous stadium they had wasn't a major league stadium in any way? That Tampa reputationally, I know inside baseball, everyone knows how smart and major league they are.
I think they've done enough where no one is treating them or viewing them as a minor league franchise
So
anymore.
you don't think that reputationally Tampa selling for less than Baltimore is something that happens because Baltimore's major league and because Tampa's not?
No. A prospective owner does not do that, does not look at that. They're doing pro formas, and they're deciding how much money has to be put into a new ballpark in Tampa, and then they're trying to hit the bid that Stu wanted for him and his investors. So, no, it's not related to that at all. Listen, the Marlins sold for 1.2, and people viewed them as a minor league team, and at the time, that's 8 years ago, that was a large price. So I would tell you that it's a big deal for baseball as it relates to expansion. Getting a ballpark done in Tampa eliminates the Tampa issue. Hopefully the Vegas issue is done, so the A's are taken care of. And now you get to the business of getting to 32 teams, which is what baseball has wanted to do for 10 years, if not more. And the ability to get to 8 divisions of 4 teams, total realignment, to get money in owners' pockets in terms of expansion fees. Everything that Rob wanted and the owners wanted can happen, but this Rays transaction had to happen first.
What kind of driver are you?
So I used to have tremendous rage because of my general frustration tolerance issues, and it got cured when I got threatened, and I'm not a big guy, and I was at a light, and the guy didn't move fast enough. I want, when it turns green,
you go.
I want you to be on the gas.
You're revving.
I don't want there to be a pause. I don't want you to be looking at your phone or changing the channel. I want you going because I'm annoyed enough that I had the red light. So I leaned on the horn, and the driver didn't move. Then he got out of the car.
Oh, boy.
And that was it. That was the last time that I had road rage because I figured I was boxed in. There was a car behind me. There was no way out. If that guy had Kevin Costner me and all of a sudden he had a gun, I was done. And my road rage got cured that day. I will never forget. I could pick that guy out of a lineup.
It literally scared the shit out of you.
I mean, no, not literally, because I didn't crap my pants. So no, incorrect. But it scared me straight. And basically, I now do not engage in road rage because the stakes seem way too high to me.
Did you offer him 2 free tickets to the Marlins game that night and say, "Do you know who I am"?
Do I love where your head's at? I did not do a Vince Namoli, who got pulled over by the cops as owner of the Rays and said, "Do you know who I am?" And they said, "Great, here's your ticket, jackass." So no, I never do that. When I'm pulled over, and I've gotten pulled over many times for speeding, I never pull a "Do you know who I am?" I do it better. I give the license, and then they run the name, and then they come back with a "We know who you are." And so that's always more effective than you saying, do you know who I am?
Excellent.
It's better for you to respond when the person says, I know who you are.
And then
great
they
advice.
double and triple the fine when they realize who you are.
Yep.
Oh, there's no question. I get a ticket every single time.
I can't believe that some of that hasn't rubbed off, that you can't get away with any of that anymore. You get pulled over these days, you're not going to get, I know who you are.
Yeah, but he pays for it with public money, so he's fine.
Well, there are lawyers around, and Miami has so many. God bless all of them. They take care of it. You pay them a couple shekels, and you get no points, no problem, no appearances, and you pay the money and move right along. Yeah. So that's always been fine for me with speeding tickets that I've gotten.
FakeHoward.com. Can we talk a little bit about the Phillies whimpering about the same thing that Greg Cody was whimpering about, that he does not want a Brewers phenom in the game with 5 pitching appearances when the Phillies have 2 pitchers who have been a great deal better than he has been?
I was just shocked to hear Greg talk, because what it meant is Greg didn't do the research. And Greg, you are the king of research and the best columnist in Miami next to Dave Hyde. Explain to me how you didn't know that Christopher Sanchez was asked to be an All-Star and declined. Explain how you didn't know that Ranger Suarez was asked to be an All-Star and declined.
Okay.
So it's not like they didn't have an opportunity and they whined and whimpered as though they were overlooked, and that's not at all what happened.
Okay, I didn't mention either of those Phillies pitchers in my argument. My argument stood on its own, which is that on principle and by common sense, a guy with 5 career games in the major leagues should not be arbitrarily appointed to an All-Star team. Period.
What's the number, Greg? Is it Dontrell's 13? Is that good?
Yeah, because that for a pitcher, that's like half a season. This is 5 games. I think it's absurd. I think it's an insult to baseball history. David, who's the best player that you know of, or perhaps that played for you, who spent a whole career, a solid, good career, and never made an All-Star team? That's the guy I'm thinking of who's been insulted by this.
There's a ton of great players. The first one that came to my mind, and I'd have to check it, but would be Juan Pierre.
There you go.
I don't know that he was ever named as an All-Star, and he would have been an All-Star for me several years in a row, in 3, 4, and 5. But I may be wrong. But someone can check that for me.
You're right, David.
Not. So he deserved to be an All-Star. There's no question about it. And to me, he was. But you're talking about the fact that there's 80 All-Stars tonight. 80.
That's ridiculous.
Like over 10% of the league are All-Stars because of all these rules where if you pitch Sunday or if you just don't want to go to Atlanta, you still get an All-Star. The Phillies paid the bonus to Sanchez like he was an All-Star. Give me a break. So we're going to have 80 introductions, and my view is that it should be 26 guys. All of them should play. And when you're taken out of the game for a pinch hitter, you may remember this from 2017. If you've ever covered an All-Star game, Greg, you go to the post-game clubhouse, they're all gone. They've gotten on their planes and bailed. My view is they should all be forced to stay the whole game, and they should be allowed to re-enter the game. So when Aaron Judge is pinch hit for tonight in the 4th inning, and the 9th inning, I want to do the Stugotz golden at bat. Let him bat in the 9th inning against a great closer. It's an all-star game. It's an exhibition. I don't want to watch the scrubs. That's a bad way to say it. I don't want to watch the worst of the best at the end of the game. I'd rather have the best of the best at the end.
David, did you ever try to keep one of your players out of the All-Star game because that player would have made a bonus if he made the All-Star game?
No. So I loved paying the All-Star bonuses. We did it $25,000, some $50,000. With Pudge Rodriguez, we had a clause that if he were ever World Series MVP, he'd get $250,000. And to me, it was the best money you could ever spend because it adds to your bottom line because you get attention. The fact that Kyle Stowers is an All-Star is really good for the Marlins. And the fact that he can use it in arbitration as a special accomplishment is worth probably $50,000 to $100,000 in your arbitration number when you've got special accomplishments before you're arbitration eligible. And I'm all in favor of that because I loved the attention of having Marlins players in the All-Star game.
Kirk Gibson was never selected as an All-Star. He was twice named as a reserve player in 1985 and 1988, but declined both invitations to spend the break with his family.
That's a good list. I'd like to, if you want to give, Greg Cody was fighting on behalf of a player whose name he could not remember.
Right.
He's just saying a fictional player that it is very purposeful cause of yours on behalf of players that you couldn't remember any examples of.
You okay?
Billy,
Travis Hafner never made an All-Star game.
That's a crazy one because he had a year where he led all of Major League Baseball in OPS plus. Like he finished top 5 in MVP voting. He finished top 8 in MVP voting. 24th the year before that. Not one All-Star game. That's pretty unbelievable to think about. He was an amazing hitter for a few years there.
He was strikeout or hit 50 home runs before it was popular.
Tim Salmon never made an All-Star game.
These are good lists.
Wow.
And the guy with 5 games gets in.
Wow.
A joke. Joke.
He's electric, Greg. You should watch him tonight.
Yeah,
You're going to have so much fun.
I should watch him for about another 20 games and see if he earns his way into an All-Star game.
He's going to pitch tonight, and he's going to blow a 103. That is my prediction. He'll throw the fastest pitch of any of the pitchers tonight, and I think you will see a 103 out of him tonight.
Okay, how about you call up a guy just before the All-Star game. The guy hits a home run in his first at-bat. He should be an All-Star too. He was electric in that at-bat. We don't need to see him more than one at-bat. He's fine. 5 games, plenty.
You're doing apples to oranges, Greg. That's not exactly how it worked. His 5 starts have been staggeringly good, record-breaking. He actually went against some of the best pitchers, and the team, the Brewers, are 55-40, 1 game back at the Cubs, one of the best records in all of baseball. And what's wrong with promoting a story? Like Mark Fidrich. Of course you want to make him an all-star. Sid Finch, you want to make him an all-star because you want people who will be watched, and everyone but you, and believe me, you're not the demographic that baseball cares about. Right. People will be watching Mizorowski.
Okay, everybody but me and 1,000 other people. A million other people.
Breaking news. Stugotz, I am willing to report exclusively midsummer here. Peter Schrager has got it. I am looking at him on camera. He just came out of Get Up, and he was leaning against his desk.
Oh, wow.
He was not just on camera. He was leaning against his desk. Peter Schrager, who's going to be a big part of all NFL coverage on ESPN, I am reporting exclusively, has got it.
The it factor?
That's the news that he's got it.
Yeah,
that's it. Oh,
yes.
And Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper are still free agents.
Cesar Tovar never made an All-Star team.
Eric Chavez.
Greg Cody has called this All-Star decision, okay, a joke, a disgrace, and, my favorite, criminal. A crime against baseball.
It is a crime against baseball. Yeah. Okay, because is David still on? Or did he,
yes.
Where are you looking?
Here. Yeah. He's just looking around until he sees David.
Why'd you just look into the sky?
Okay, David.
He was hoping to see David.
David, you know this. There's a place for a guy who's pitched 5 games and has really impressed people. It's called the Futures Game. It was played Saturday, I believe.
That's a great point.
No.
Greg, you actually did very well there. I mean, that breaking news was tough to shake.
Yeah.
You had to deal with the
You
big
transitioned out of
news.
it, yes.
What was that? Peter Schrager has it.
Schrager has it.
Yeah, I can understand how
leaned
it's
on
disorienting.
Yes.
Yeah, it really was. It was so ridiculous. Peter Schrager
The Futures Game is for people with not one career at-bat or one career inning pitched. It's all minor leaguers, Greg.
Bend the rules.
This guy had so bend the rules for that. This guy had like 14 innings pitched, and we're like,
yes,
not that much.
It's ridiculous.
You want to get some eyeballs on the future game, though. Greg is right.
I feel like I'm transported to another time. LeBron to Miami and arguing about the All-Star game. Like,
in Greg's defense,
it's
if the
a time
season,
machine.
the season ended today, he'd still be eligible for Rookie of the Year next year.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
There's a pitcher pitching tonight in the All-Star game who's played 5 more games than I have. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
He's only made 1 more pitching appearance this season than Marlins rookie utility infielder Javier Sanoja.
There you go.
Criminal, Greg Cody has said.
Crime against baseball.
Jeremy, that is the most irrelevant stat
Of course
ever.
it is. Of course it is. But it's
Ever.
fun.
Yeah.
But it backed me up.
Baseball,
so I
baby.
appreciated it. Yeah.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for adding nothing.
I mean, you reported Schrager had it.
Delayed call.
Seriously.
It's a delayed call.
To me, that's a major penalty for Dan because when we want to train people, when they hear that noise, that they need to pay attention, that something major is about to happen.
Right.
And then he drops a Schrager's got it. And now when people hear the noise going forward, they're going to assume it's just a joke.
Yep. Good point, David.
David, the Red Sox have won 10 straight, and they traded away Rafael Devers. And I'm wondering, is that like the best feeling for like a GM to trade away a guy, the fan base gets really mad at you, and your team is better without said guy? How good does that feel?
It's the dream. We root for everyone we trade away to stink. We want them to get hurt. We want them to be bad. It's like when you sell a stock and pretend you don't look at what the stock does after you sell it. Of course, everybody looks. We just say we don't. And that's what I said for all those years. But I always looked at people we traded. I didn't feel happy. I love Miguel Cabrera, but when he won the Triple Crown, I was like, are you kidding me? It's like a pylon. Of course, you then congratulate him and you're happy for him. But no, you definitely want Devers to be bad. You want the Giants to finish behind the Diamondbacks, and you want to catch the Yankees, because then you get to do a big fat I told you so off the record to all the journalists and all the fans. And to me, that is major, the ability to do I told you so. I used to love that.
Whose downfall were you happiest for?
Al Leiter.
Wow. Likeable Al Leiter.
Yeah, when his first game after we released him, he pitched a great game on Sunday Night Baseball.
And that hurt, right? And that hurt.
Oh, my God. I was despondent, but then he stunk.
Wait, so can you put us there? As Leiter is stinking it up, you're watching these games. What are you doing, David?
I'm waiting for the owner to call and waiting for him to be angry that we made a decision to move on from him. And all of a sudden he's performing for one of the New York teams. And on Sunday Night Baseball, which back then meant something, and the Marlins could never get on Sunday Night Baseball, and yada, 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 you're eating crow thinking, wait a minute, did we designate the wrong guy? You really want confirmation bias for all your personnel decisions, and you only get that through bad performance. And so you wait for the bad performance, and that's when you pounce with the owner and you say, look, we did the right thing. And so what I would do, back then there were clippings. It was really before people were using the internet too much. But we would do actual clip packages every day. And what I would do is I would highlight the articles that were game recaps from players we had traded or designated who had bad games for their team. And I would do the box score or do the line of the game story to make sure the owner saw.
Nothing personal, though.
David, when you famously bilked taxpayers and got a stadium built, you got an All-Star game. I'm wondering if any memories pop up there, good and bad, with when you guys hosted the All-Star game.
Boy, that was fun. The home run derby was so much fun. I will tell you that I was upset about the bracket situation. I tried to not have brackets back then in 17 because the way the brackets were shaking out, I thought Justin Bohr would have a problem, and he did. And he should have advanced because he was that good. And in today's game, he would have advanced. I wanted Stanton to defend his title and win back-to-back derbies. Having Judge win was disappointing but exciting for fans, no doubt, as he won the home run derby at Marlins Park. It was phenomenal dealing with the Players Union and the Commissioner's Office when Aaron Judge hit the roof with the BP home run derby practice, and we had never had a ball hit the roof before. So I remember that clear as day. But I also remember that I was very worried about my son, who was on the field shagging because it's all connections. And I was worried that he was going to get doinked. And then you watch, like last night, when the kid does a home run robbery, which I think should have been an out, by the way.
Yes.
If you catch the ball, it's not a home run.
Correct.
But the umpire ruled it a home run, which I think is wrong. I think that kid should be lauded. That's what they're there for, to try to rob home runs.
What?
It's like the dream.
Yep.
What are you talking about?
100%.
That's what they're there for.
All those kids are there to catch home run balls. Look at the catch that this kid made. He is over the wall. This is a major league catch.
That's a baby wall, though.
Wall's
Come on.
like 5 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than 5 feet tall. There's no walls below 5 feet. But that said, it's a great catch. And for you to deny it all you want. But that's not a home run. Under all scenarios, that's not a home run. And I remember clear as day.
Not all scenarios, because it was a home run.
Well, the
kid
scenario
caught it.
last night.
Right.
The scenario last night made it a home run. But I had a big discussion with my wife at the time about having my son on the field because I thought it would be really cool for him. He was 14 years old. But I've been out there when fly balls are hit. And let me tell you, I don't know, Dan, if you've ever asked your staff this. Wink, wink. I know you have. None of you could catch a fly ball.
Yeah,
Not one of
we
you.
did this a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Mike Ryan thinks he could catch one barehanded.
Zero chance.
David,
Zero.
I could get 85 out of 100.
David,
Zero chance.
how much you want to bet, David?
I will go to a major. If we can get this done, we'll go to a major league batting practice. You stand there and shag. Or, I mean, during a game would be insane when you see a ball hit you during a game.
That wouldn't be allowed,
Not during
probably.
a game, David.
But during BP, I do not think you would catch a line
Can we stop talking
drive.
about it and just do it, okay? Because I'm so tired. You guys as a show, okay? This is. And I'm still waiting for Stugotz's penalty kicks against an MLS goalie. Like either do this or don't, but stop talking about it.
You should be able, Billy, to call on the Marlins and to do a whole thing where they let you into Marlins Park and they let you, during a BP session, go into the outfield and you stand there and try to catch any of the balls, no matter whether you played college ball or not. It's really hard to do.
What is the movie you're reviewing for us this week?
I'm taking a chance here, and it's okay if you guys are going to be upset. I watched the Barbara Walters documentary, and it's on Hulu, and it's called Tell Me Everything. And Barbara Walters is quite a story. I only knew her as the person who made people cry when she was interviewing stars and politicians, etc. I didn't realize what she went through prior to becoming the Barbara Walters I knew. I didn't realize the misogyny of the news people like Peter Jennings and others, rest in peace, who were just mean to her because she was a woman news person, and she was incredible. And so this documentary goes through her entire story, and I love her because she chose work over family, and I dig it. That is the right decision to make, to choose work over family, and she did it.
David, we're laughing at something you said there. Just to be clear, you weren't aware that old-timey newsmen were misogynistic?
I knew they were smoking on set, but it didn't occur to me that they were that way, that they would be that way.
I mean, it's quite frankly the archetype.
It's also weird to say big-time misogynist, rest in peace.
Yeah, that too. You did that one too. You managed to do both of those.
You're welcome. It happens to be a great documentary, and her daughter is on it. And her daughter acknowledges, my mom was just never around. She was the working person. She was never good at marriage. She was never good at mothering. She was only good at working. And it was quite relatable to me. And so I appreciated what she had accomplished, and I just learned a lot. So if you're looking to learn about someone, Barbara Walters, Tell Me Everything, it's worth your time.
Do they get into the relationship with Roy Cohn?
Yes, they do. That's a big one because, of course, a relationship with Roy Cohn is sort of bizarre. If people don't know that name, then you're not watching enough movies. Roy Cohn is one of the most recognizable legal names of the past century. I mean, along with the O.J. Simpson lawyers, Johnny Cochran and Kardashians and Barry Scheck.
How long is this list going to be? See you later, David. Good talking to you. A very important, prominent attorney, except for all these others who need to be more prominent in my memory list that I will keep and will haunt me the rest of the week. Good talking to you. See you later.
There was no beginning. Oh, we just went to commercial break. Thinking Big with Kevin Hart.
I'm very excited about doing this because this is a human being I'm very curious about. His insatiability, his conquering, his ability to be, I think I can say this, if not the most successful comedian in America, the most popular comedian in America. Usually stadiums don't get sold out. Kevin Hart, thank you for being here. I am really interested in finding out how you're built. Your friend Neil Brennan tells me, ask him about his past and you will understand why he can't stop working and why he will never stop working.
That's very true. Neil is a really good friend of mine. Great guy, too. I like Neil all around in general. He's just a good definition of a person. But yeah, man, I'm on your platform, so I'm a firm believer in allowing people to be great, and you are good at what you do. So in this interview, be you. But if we can go as in depth as you want, what questions you have, you'll get great answers and great feedback. I'm here for the greater of good.
Okay, well, I'm happy to have you. So let's start, though, with your conquering. It seems like you are hell-bent on proving something with employees and worth and building and creativity. You want to be what? Like, it seems like you've arrived at what would be a destination for any comic.
I think that it's I can simplify it, right? I can simplify it. I think what some people tend to make extremely complex and difficult, I do a good job of making those things easy, right? For me, I look at it from a perspective of we all have an option in our life to do as much as we possibly can, right? And you can take that option and max it out, or you can do the minimum, or you can, do, I guess, what can be deemed to be the mid-level of whatever, right? But there's things that are put around us that do nothing but give us the opportunity to succeed and grow. And it's how you use those tools around you to basically be a version of your best benefit. And my tools that I've been able to form and put myself around are people, right? I've been around some really great people that have achieved a lot of amazing things in their lives and their careers. And in doing that, it's motivating, it's inspiring.
But have you met many like you? The Rock you guys seem to have like a common space where you both understand, we want everything. We want everything. You've met a lot of people like that?
I've met a lot of people like that. I'm an entrepreneur. Right? So an entrepreneur, businessman, a mogul, whatever you want to define it as, there's people that have multiple layers. There's people that want to do a lot of things. There's people that do a lot of things. There's a lot of companies that have been developed to basically now act in a space because of their now ecosystem. They're able to do so much, right? Like the bandwidth of one thing is no longer just the one. It's, look at Amazon, look at Disney, look at these companies that have a multi-layered system, right? It's an amusement park, but then we do animation, and the animation has went into television, and now we are going out of this into experience, and experience, it's also an activation of experiential. Well, that's somebody that keeps compounding on one idea, right? Amazon, what was once one thing, well, now is Amazon Prime, Amazon Fresh Markets.
You are many things. You are tequilas. You are interview shows. You are documentaries.
Everything. But it comes from looking and being inspired by the people that are doing it at the highest level. So I'm trying my best to create an ecosystem. So Kevin Hart is not just the talent anymore. That's one layer, right? The talent got me in the door to be an investor. The investments got me in a place to build on opportunities that I thought that I would never have. I have a fast food plant-based restaurant. I have a tequila. I'm in the space of health and wellness. I have my plant-based protein to my vitamins, to my gummies. That's in Vita Hustle. Like, you have athleisure. That's in Fabletics. And then, like, these are all owned entities. These aren't like ambassador roles, right?
How many employees do you have in that ecosystem?
Right now, my ecosystem, I'm probably somewhere around like 220, maybe. Like between, if I were to go through Heart House, Grand Coromino, Heartbeat Ventures, probably pushing around 220.
Because your life looks from the outside, anybody would look at it and say, man, that seems fun. And some of what I see in your life, because I'm way outside it obviously, is like, man, that seems like a lot of responsibility, a lot of pressure, a lot of people that he doesn't want to let down. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if his life is always fun. I don't know how he leads. It seems like he's got a lot on him.
Well, you have to have some type of passion for the thing that you're doing, right? Like, is it stressful? Does it become a lot of times? Of course, but that's a part of the journey. It's not going to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy. If it was, then everybody would do it. So I think the separation within the opportunity and individuals come from those that can take on the task. So delegating, organizing, building structure, all of that stuff, it comes from grasping the mindset that you can't be the one doing it all. You have to invest in people and trust in others to help you build. You need great minds around you. You need ideas. You need people that can flourish within the thing that you're building. That's the only way it gets bigger. So I'm a firm believer in giving my future world of stars the platform to be great. And by stars, I'm not talking about people in front of the camera. I'm talking about the people behind. I'm talking about my business minds that I'm sitting across the table from that really do understand my goal. Right? Those are the important pieces to my puzzle. That's what's helping me.
But what are the growths that you find most personally, emotionally rewarding? Like whether they're for you, how you grow your career, or who you're helping. Like what do you identify as the most moving forms of growth in this ecosystem as you continue to just branch out and really you're not just a comedian, you're a brand, and I am curious about what moves you there. It's not just laughter and it's not just money.
The biggest piece of inspiration that I find is the concept that I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be able to do what I'm doing or the things that I've been able to obtain. I'm not supposed to be here. I come from North Philadelphia. I'm an inner city kid. From my culture, from my community, life is pretty it's pretty direct. You're supposed to be content with the space that you operate in and what you're given, and that's supposed to be life.
There is something that is sort of diabolically delightful about seeing Greg Cody with that particular mustache. And I've asked Video to see if there's any public domain footage we can get of man in early 1900s running away from railroad tracks in black and white movie because of how sinister the mustache looks, but also good. Everyone is telling Greg Cody that this look works for him, that he looks better and younger than he normally does.
He does look good. I did say to him, because I saw it before the show, Dan, and I said, you look like a guy who would tie me up and leave me on the railroad. I mean,
that is what he gives off. So if we can find any video like that and pair it against what it is that Greg Cody looks like, I'd like that. But to see come from under that mustache, the helpful tip as we head into this segment, he's like, hey, Dan, a lot of laughs coming up. Fun segment with Congressman Maxwell Frost coming up, huh? To have it come from that mustache, because we're going to be talking about Alligator Alcatraz and something that I probably think it goes without saying that you would know in 2025 feels an awful like something that doesn't feel terribly American to me.
Big shocker, but I'm a huge fan of Maxwell Frost.
You would. Yes, that is not surprising anybody. So we're going to talk to him, though, because I do want people to understand the conditions down here. The Everglades are particularly cruel. It's the entire history of Florida makes it so none of us should be living on this land. You guys are feeling it right now just because the air conditioning has gone down for a couple of days. You guys are crawling around on your knees without mosquito issues in here. And I feel like everyone is broken, physically broken by the heat in here. I feel like makeup is running all over the place. Everyone's having troubles. Mm-hmm. Do I have this wrong? Greg Cody's complaining but he's also wearing a long sleeve shirt because he's having a bad arm
Well, he
day.
thought the AC was working. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
You guys don't pay the electric bills? How does that work?
It's not an electric bill thing. It is that when the summer gets really hot down here, the equipment is in some danger.
It's a common thing in the Northeast when it gets hot. They have blackouts It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I can change the air filter if you need me to. Like, I'm versed.
Yeah, I know you're a handyman, as
Yeah, I
we've
am.
established.
Right.
Chris, I was asking you at the beginning of the Samson segment, and we wandered off. There's some Francesa sound talking about Superman that I'm told is delightful. Now, Francesa does have a real podcast. It's not a fake podcast. I don't know the name of that podcast. Does anyone off the top of their head know the Mike Francesa podcast name?
I think it's mic'd up, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, good guess. A reasonable guess. I would have assumed that might have been taken, but I think Mike Ryan had mic'd up at some point.
I did have
he?
a Chelsea mic'd up.
I had a Miami mic'd up.
Get this. It's called the Mike Francesa podcast.
Oh, wow.
Real or fake?
So let's listen to Mike Francesa here. He did not like Superman, evidently.
There's a super dog. Who came up with a super dog? I mean, we all like dogs, okay? And I didn't like the dog getting beat on in the movie. It bothered me. But, hey, who came up with a dog with a cape? When did that arrive? I watched Superman for years on television. I never saw a dog with a cape.
It's good coverage.
He's right.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
You
You nerds. Crypto was a big part of the comics.
I mean, we all like dogs, okay?
He didn't want to get too far out there with the take, so he made sure that everyone understood. Look, I'm on the side of dogs.
I mean, we all like dogs.
I'm
okay?
a pro-dog
Pro
person,
dogs,
okay?
yeah.
But you don't need to be making them super. That could be just for a man. The super could be for a man. We don't need the dogs to also be super.
And I didn't like the dog getting beat on in the movie. It bothered me. But, hey, who came up with a dog with a cape? When did that arrive?
It's a good question.
They had a meeting, and they're like, get the dog a cape.
Well, how are you going to convey that the dog is super dog if it doesn't have a cape? How are you going to? Yeah, it needs to have a cape. Put it on the poll at Le Batard
Yeah,
Show.
but the dog got beat up.
I mean, once a dog starts flying around, I think it's pretty well established that this is a super
It
dog.
needs a cape. A bulldog without a cape flying around is ridiculous.
It's comic book accurate, and also credit to the filmmaker because it's hard to cover new ground with Superman, right?
You don't have a super dog if it's not wearing a cape. Put it
I
on.
watched Superman for years on television. I never saw a dog with a cape.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Can your dog truly and indeed be super if it doesn't have a cape? Now, I have not heard before. You guys, this was something that actually took me aback. I found surprising to hear it. It's obviously not something we can entertain in any way, but I really appreciated that Pete Alonso had thought it all this far through. We have talked before about the undercurrent, and it's not even an undercurrent, the overt way in which hockey fighting is allowed because it's a bunch of white dudes generally that are fighting, and whenever it is that basketball players fight, next thing you know, all the rules have to be changed because those players mostly aren't white. To find ourselves, what are you smiling about, Chris Cody?
I'm listening to you.
Just the show.
Yeah.
Well, you look like you were looking off into the distance dreamily on something.
Tell you what, all fights should be legal in all sports if they have to fight on ice.
Right.
Okay. So
and with helmets.
Yeah, like if they have
gloves,
to try to
right.
find a leverage point in a fight on ice, I'm good.
Okay, understood that you're making this distinction. It's not about race; it's about the skates. Fine, no problem.
Oh no, it's about race too, no doubt.
But Pete Alonso, have you heard any of this?
No.
Pete Alonso,
The polar bear.
He is advocating for something that I had not heard anyone advocate for with this kind of specificity.
He's asked if you can change any MLB rule, what would you change? And this is what his answer was.
One rule I could change, so I don't think people should get ejected after charging them out or fighting. So I think it should be hockey style. So no teams, no nothing, because that's when people can seriously get hurt. So I think there's a rule. If you want to go out and charge them out, then you should be able to. But if the pitcher or hitter or whoever charges, if they don't want to fight, they take a knee, and then they don't have to fight. But if someone charges them out, it's 1v1 hockey style, and then that's it.
I love that.
Wow.
That's inspired thinking, and the main reason that you hear about hockey being allowed to have fights when no one else has fights is these players are skating around. They're holding deadly weapons in their hand with these sticks. If you don't give them the fighting outlet, something really bad is going to happen. Well, a baseball is a projectile that can do some serious damage. You got guys with baseball bats in their hands, essentially clubs. I think you could apply the very same logic. And if it's in the state of Texas, you can clear it with police. As we learned yesterday, the Mariners can do this as well. You can have a formal duel.
The optics, though, of kneeling.
Who's going to take a
Like,
knee?
who's-
right?
you
the
don't wanna be
coward.
the-
Right.
Yeah, it's also going to lead to a very ugly incident where there is a dude taking a knee and a guy's got a full head of steam and he's full of rage and he's still got a clock.
You're not allowed to take a knee on a field. We learned that a few years ago.
The thing that Pete Alonso is saying there is, I love the narcissism in all of this, but I also love the caveman in it. Because I imagine it's really frustrating to Pete Alonso that people are allowed to throw something at him at 100 miles an hour and he's got to go walk to first base or both dugouts are going to empty. Yeah. Right. So wherever it is that his most outrageously stubborn and dumb male pride resides. Oh, you give me the right to change any rule in baseball. Here's the rule. I want to be able to tear off my shirt and then tear off the head of the person in front of me. And if he doesn't want to fight, get on a knee in front of everybody, in front of America to say that you're afraid of me. And under those circumstances, I can be king of the sport. It's such a great idea for him to have to take out all of his years of resentment. Because I imagine, Stugotz, I don't know, as you guys laugh at, why should this guy be in the All-Star game because he throws 104 miles an hour? The idea of standing against somebody who might hit me in the wrist or elbow with a 104 mile an hour fastball, if I had to do that as a career for 20 years, I'd like to beat the holy hell out of every pitcher with a bat. Like if that was my life, if I went to bed before games at night knowing someone's coming inside at 99.
I said who's going to kneel, but if Peter Alonso is running at you, probably a good idea to kneel.
I don't know. I think that if he's going to say you have to be that publicly coward, then just run into the outfield. Because so that
maybe lay down.
So now you're running away.
No, so we avert the situation Mike's talking about, which is someone in submission getting ravaged anyway. Then the teams can get involved, authorities, everyone
You just lay
else.
down on the grass like you're taking a midday
Fetal
nap.
position.
You
Yes.
got to get a knee to the face, Shining Wizard style.
All right, so Greg Cody here prefaced this segment with a lot of laughs. Yes, there are not a lot of laughs here, but we've talked to Maxwell Frost before, and to the degree that we could take some of the politics out of this, I don't know that we can. The congressman is joining us, Florida's 10th district, and he's had a chance to take a look at least at the parts of Alligator Alcatraz, and so I don't know what is factual, what is inhumane. I know how all of this looks. I know how it's all purposely meant to look. What can you give us in the way of facts about what is happening in Swampland when it looks optically from over here that this is just cruel stuff and human beings being used as propaganda pieces?
That's exactly right, man. I mean, it's just cruel, and, cruelty isn't just the point, it's the strategy in this. But I'm going to just give you some straight up facts about my visit, and people can make their own determination, right? I walk in, and I'm greeted by nothing but private security, right? Now, this is a facility that they're saying is going to cost about $450 million. It's probably going to be a lot more. It's being run by the Florida Division of Emergency Management. These are the people that, help us with when we have hurricanes, help us prepare, help us respond. They're using pretty much all the money, which is they can use up to $500 million without going to the legislature if there's a state of emergency. That whole thing is meant to be there if there's a hurricane so they can work quickly. That's all being used up now for this political stunt. And that's something everyone should recognize if you're a Floridian especially. So I walk in, we go in, we're checking out the conditions. And I'll tell you the worst part for me was when they opened that door to the tent that had all the cages in it. And people should know that these men are being held in cages. The cages hold 32 people per cage, and then there's 3 toilets in each cage, and it's one of those jail units where the spigot is connected to the toilet. Essentially, it's like a hybrid with washing your hands and drinking water from it, and it's hot in there. I mean, these guys were sweating when they opened that door. These guys were yelling at me, "Hey, call my family. Here's my phone number." Some guy yelled, "I'm an American citizen." We're looking into that, right? I mean, when you do this stuff in the brazen way they're doing it, sometimes citizens get swept up into the whole mess. So we're looking into that as well. But the conditions are not good. They're abhorrent for a place that humans are being held in. And the thing people also have to realize is when you're an immigrant being held in detention, it doesn't mean you've been convicted of a crime, right? They're holding you in detention as you go through a legal process. And so it's not supposed to be a jail or a prison. It's supposed to just be a detention center. So these are very bad conditions. It's very hot out there. These are a bunch of tents in the middle of the Everglades. And the last thing I'll say on this too is they were going to build full airport on this location years ago. Then they abandoned the idea. Why? Because the conditions are so poor out there in terms of weather that they couldn't build an airport there. And now they want to house up to 4,000 people there. So I think it's completely ridiculous.
What is your response to the DHS written statement on X Tuesday? Quote, ICE has higher detention standards than most U.S. prisons that hold actual U.S. citizens. All detainees are provided with proper meals, medical treatment, and have opportunities to communicate with lawyers and their family members.
The last part is not true. And I know this because I have many constituents in there, and I speak with the lawyers. My team checks in with the lawyers on a daily basis. In fact, we've been given 3 to 4 emails for the lawyers to hit up so they can schedule in-person visits with their client. And so that's just not true. You can talk to any lawyer in Florida doing this work, and they're very frustrated. They haven't been able to really connect with the person that they're representing. The other thing I'll tell you is, look, I mean, before Congress, I was a community activist. I've been arrested. I went to jail. And I'll tell you, the jail I went to, 2 people, 1 cell, 1 bathroom in the cell, okay? These are 32 men with only 3 toilets in a cage in the hot Florida sun, right? And what I'll tell you is this. They keep saying, well, no, it's a good operation. I'm not debating the operation. It's run by the Florida Division of Emergency Management. We have one of the best emergency management divisions in the nation. The operation is great, but at the end of the day, a cage is a cage, right? The conditions are the condition. And so I'm not here to debate whether it's not being run well. I don't want an internment camp, even if it's run well, right? And so that's my opinion on it. And I think everyone, no matter what your politics are, you should be frustrated that they're using the department that helps us during hurricane season. And we're supposed to, and I'm knocking on wood, but we're supposed to have a tough hurricane season like we've had the last 5. And so, you know, in these times when you have these storms, every minute matters. And the fact that they're going to have to go back to the legislature and ask for more money if there's a hurricane just shows the priorities are out of whack. And it's a stunt, but it's a stunt with real human consequence. I mean, I got to tell you from a human perspective, looking at those cages, I mean, I saw myself in there, right? Like I saw people who looked exactly like me. I'm Afro-Cuban. I'm the first Afro-Cuban in Congress. Like I was looking at myself in those cages. And as I walked out of the facility, I told myself, I'm going to be one of the only people that looks like me that can walk in this place and walk out on my own accord. And I just gotta tell you, as a human, like my heart sunk. And not everyone in here isn't a violent criminal. We saw what the Miami Herald posted all the data. You got 250 people in there who've never done a crime, who've never been charged with a crime. And then you got a bunch of people in there. The crime is like, you know, they got pulled over for a speeding ticket or something. Come on.
How long was your tour? Were you denied access to any requested areas?
The tour was about 2 hours. Yes, I was denied access to a couple areas. And so people know it is in the law. It's in federal law, right? That members of Congress have to be let into detention facilities, and we have to be able to conduct our oversight. And it's part of our job is to go in and make sure things are being run correctly, that conditions are good, all of this. So we had a 2-hour tour, but there were 2 things I couldn't see that are really important when you do these tours. One was the medical unit. That's one of the most important things. We need to be able to go in there, speak directly with doctors, understand. You know, I had a lot of questions about mental health. If someone has a mental health crisis, what happens? Do they have a segregation unit or are they put with everybody else? Nobody could answer these questions for me, and they wouldn't even let me in the medical unit. They said HIPAA. They said we can't let you in because of HIPAA. That's bullshit. I've been in many facilities before where they've let me in the medical unit. Now, I can't sit down in an appointment and listen in, but I can walk through the unit and ensure that things are up to par. So they didn't let me into the medical unit. They also didn't let me, I could see the cages from the door, but they didn't let me walk in. And the reason I wanted to walk in is because one of the top complaints we're getting are the toilets. We have a bunch of guys who have called their lawyers and called their family late at night on the phone and said, hey, I just want to let you know that 2 of the 3 toilets aren't working right now, and one of them is backing up. And there's like, you know, stuff is being sprayed or, you know, coming out of the toilet essentially. And reportedly it was hours till it was cleaned up. So I wanted to see the toilets as they were, but they said, oh, we can't let you in there. They'll throw poop at you is what they said. So, you know, just all these excuses for not letting us go in and check things out. One point I want to bring up that I didn't see a lot of law enforcement in this facility. What I mean to say is I saw almost nothing but private security, which means part of the reason the price tag is so high is we're essentially paying for a ton of rent-a-cops to run the facility. This is supposed to be a federal detention facility. And so people should be concerned about that. People are making big money from this thing as well. When I came in on the airstrip, 2 private jets for the companies, for the contractors that are there. They had 2 private jets on there, probably hire, the CEO or a higher executive being there. So it's just like everything else, another instance of like our tax money being siphoned off to big corporations to make this stunt possible.
The president toured the facility, and I guess with everything going on in the nation, there are a lot of misconceptions that this is a federal facility. However, just hours after, the administration kind of distanced itself from Alligator Alcatraz after the photo ops and put it all on the state. So here, on the state level, what can Floridians do about this to voice their anger? We've seen plenty of protests. Is there any additional pressure that we could apply to local and state leaders?
Yeah, the whole hot potato with the state federal thing is insane. And the reason they're doing it, number one, there's a lawsuit happening right now. A bunch of the environmentalist groups are suing the state. And you know what the state said? They said the federal government has no involvement in this. Why? Because it hurts the lawsuit, and that lawsuit could shut this thing down. I went in there, and you know what Kevin Guthrie told me, who's running the whole damn thing? He said ICE is calling all the shots. So he's telling me directly that the federal government's calling the shots. I'm gonna hit the floor this week to put this on the record. I'm also gonna release an op-ed talking about this as well and do as much as I can to get out these specific quotes, and hopefully it'll help not just the lawsuit, but everything going on. But I would say, of course, the protests are always important, but honestly, people, especially if you're in Florida, get involved in one of these local immigrant justice groups. If you have some cash that you can donate to a pro bono legal organization that's doing immigrant law, they need resources. There's not enough resources to go around. And a lot of these immigrants, look, whatever your belief is in politics, you have to believe in due process for everybody. And we live in a country where the amount of money you have is directly correlated to whether or not you're going to get off or not, because you're able to afford an expensive attorney. These people can't afford attorneys, even expensive ones, right? And so if you can donate some money to some of the legal funds, and these are just lawyers working a pro bono way to represent a lot of these immigrants who, again, most of whom have not committed a crime, and most of whom who have been in this country for over a decade. Like, these are our neighbors, right? These are people living in our communities. We don't want to see them treated this way and snatched up by mass people. I mean, it's wild to me that this is even a debate. We live in the United States of America. Like, we don't want the state running around scooping people up in unmarked vans. I mean, I don't care what your political persuasion is. You got to be against that. Because even if you don't care about these folks, which you should, but even if you don't, I promise you, it's them today, it's you tomorrow. I mean, and I'm not being hyperbolic. We've seen U.S. citizens caught up in this whole mess.
You underscored the need for access for immigration attorneys. I know Laura Kelly from the Miami-Dade Democratic Party is an immigration attorney herself, volunteering a lot of time fighting this fight with the TPS expiration or executive order. Presently, what is access to immigration attorneys for people that are detained? Can they make phone calls? What is that process like for someone that's detained? Yeah. For someone who is screaming at you, hey, I'm a U.S. citizen.
Yeah. So the way it's supposed to work is these immigrant detention facilities are supposed to have what's called a law library. It sounds fancy. What it really is it's a phone in a place that's not being surveilled in terms of audio, so you can speak with your lawyer privately through the phone, right? And this facility, in Everglades, did have a law library. But what we've heard is the detainees are not being allowed to use it. And so a lot of the lawyers are telling me, well, I'll randomly get a call from the person I'm representing, but it's at like 3 a.m. when they turn on the general phones for your phone call to call your family. And the way this works is those phones are supposed to be used to talk with your family. The law library phones are supposed to be used to talk with your lawyer, right? And so, but what we're finding is they're having to use those other phones to talk with their lawyers. The lawyers are having trouble getting in contact with the facility to set up in-person visits. But there is a process here because, again, Deportation is a legal process. When someone is being detained, they're really supposed to only be detained if they're considered a risk to society, they've committed a violent crime. But they're detaining people who have done no crimes, who their crime is like a traffic stop, or maybe they had the wrong license plate and stuff like that. And that's part of why the cost tag is going up so much. But this whole thing is supposed to be a legal process, and that's why. And again, I'm not trying to be super hyperbolic. I'm just calling it like I see it. What we're seeing now isn't even deportation, because deportation can take a week to a year to battle out, right? It's a process. This is really, they're kidnapping people and then they're trafficking them to other nations. They don't even have to be from that nation. And so I'm just really concerned. I mean, I'm a Floridian. My mom came here as a refugee from Cuba. She'd be one of the people being scooped up had she come more recently, or if she wasn't a U.S. citizen. So it's very concerning.
He's representing the people of his hometown in Orlando in Central Florida, and he's joining us 2 days after filing a lawsuit against DeSantis for being unlawfully denied entry to inspect conditions of the migrant detention facility that is now being known as Alligator Alcatraz. Last notes, and you said your mother is Cuban-American. The most appalling of the things that you're feeling are not what this country has ever supposedly been about. Are blank.
Say it again for me.
The most appalling, un-American sort of, how are we even talking about this? How are we even discussing an argument about internment camps and treating human beings this way randomly? Like, how is this a conversation in 2025?
Could be that part.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's that part. I don't like, and I think about. This is so politicized. It's so partisan in the national sense. But I'm telling you, like on the ground, I go and speak with people, and I speak with people who they say they're conservative, they're progressive all around. People are starting to wake up to the fact that this isn't right. And that's why Trump's numbers on immigration have tanked, right? I mean, this was a big issue for him in the election. And so people don't like this cruelty at this level. And I mean, my mom, she talks about like, this is the stuff I saw in Cuba. Sorry, that's my voting alarm going off. We can't turn it off or down.
People love to vote.
Yeah, people love to vote. But this is the stuff that she fled, right? And now it's here. And I hear this from so many people. My friend Manuel Oliver, his family lived in Venezuela. They left Venezuela to keep their son safe. They came to Florida. They went online and looked up the safest community they could live in to keep their son safe. And it said Parkland, Florida. They moved to Parkland, Florida, and he was murdered at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. His name is Joaquin Oliver. I hear these stories so much of people who have come to this country for the opportunity and greatness we have. And we are a great country. But there are things we have to fix. And if you love something, when there's a problem, you call it out and you do everything you can to fix it. Being patriotic is more than just like bald eagle flag and beer, right? It's about loving the people who live in this place. And they're treating our people in just inhumane ways at these internment camps. I can't even believe it's a debate, but I do think I think the pendulum is swinging. I think people are waking up to it.
From the very name Alligator Alcatraz to the terrible optics of crowded chain link fence jail cells, this is aggressively inhumane. Do you believe why is it intentionally inhumane? Why are they doing it in this way?
Yeah, the reason why is it's not just the point, right? It's the strategy. And this isn't even just for this facility, but it's for a lot of these ICE detention facilities. I visited one called Baker, and the conditions were horrible. At the time, I wrote to President Biden, and I told him, you need to close this place down. The conditions are horrible. But what they do is the conditions are so bad that these immigrants who are fighting a legal process that can take like a year, they get to the point where they go, I can't be here another month. I'm going to sign the deportation paper. I'm done fighting it. Send me wherever. And it's to demoralize them. I spoke with 2 Haitian men a year and a half ago in Baker, and they told me, Congressman, I've been fighting this for 8 months, 9 months. Tomorrow I'm signing the paper because I rather fight for my life and live on the streets of Haiti than be in this institute in this facility another month. And that's a big part of it. Is it's just such horrible conditions. I mean, you're literally in prison, and depending where you're at, if not worse. And at the same time, you're in this grueling legal battle, and the whole purpose is for you to go, screw it, send me wherever. And it's just it's horrible and it's sad. And also one thing, the lawsuit is the state legislators that went a couple weeks ago, they were denied entry. And my good friend Rep. Anna Escamani and Carlos Guillermo Smith, Chevron Jones, there's Michelle Rayner. Those are the ones involved in that. I'm not on that lawsuit because I wasn't there. But my visit was this past week, and we were able to get in. But I am gonna do an unannounced visit soon, because what I saw was bad, man. But they had 3 days notice, right? Like, and when they have notice, they will make things cleaner. I mean, I heard from a family that spoke with someone that's there that magically the day before we got there, he got his first shower. Oh, and the day before we got there, he got like one of the first good meals. And so I'm going to be coming back unannounced. And that's really the only way to do these visits, because you see things for how they are. And it's in the law. I can show up at a time and place of my choosing, and I will do that.
Join us after that, please. Thank you for the work that you're doing. And the cruel is not the accident. The cruel is the point. Thank you, Congressman. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Back with Ron McGill after this.
I got to catch up on a crank.
Wayne looks great.
Wayne looks like hell. What are you talking about? Be honest.
Come on, Karen, Tom.
No.
That's not
No, I love Wayne. Seriously.
You can't take out the legend. What's the matter with you? But you are. You are
I
more
love Wayne.
Vegas. No, you are more Vegas than him, though. You are.
I helped. No, he's Mr. Vegas. I'm Mrs. Vegas. We changed one night. We were doing a video, and it's really hot, right? I looked over, and Wayne Newton's hair was dripping. So I went over and I said, "You're dripping with what?" I said, I got to fix your hair. And he looked back at me, and I said, "It's just drip." It was like a little black, guy was dripping. So at least I fixed. No, it's natural. It's just naturally dripping. It was naturally dripping.
Wait, I want to really.
I didn't let him sit there and drip. I thought I should probably step in.
But you have seen Hollywood melt away, vanity melt away, and so you had to laugh to yourself that symbol for Vegas excess, that his hair was dripping down his face.
Yeah, I know what to do. No one else was doing it. The makeup artist was like,